The iPod now has serious competition in the form of the Samsung Galaxy Player. How are you guys doing today? I'm Michael Mason. I'm here to talk to you guys about a new toy I've gotten and how I believe it'll give Apple some serious competition. The new toy I have is the Samsung Galaxy Player 5. What I'm going to talk to you guys about today is the features I like about it, the features I don't like about it, and why I feel it's going to give Apple a run for its money. So the first big thing about it is Samsung essentially took their Galaxy phones and ripped the phone portion out. What this basically means is it's a Wi-Fi only device, not even required to get a contract to operate this device. The other nifty thing I like about it, it runs the Android 2.3.5 operating system. Comes in nice either 4-inch or 5-inch screen variants. I've got a 5-inch screen on mine. It's got a rear-facing 3-megapixel camera with a flash, and it's also got a nice front-facing 0.3 megapixel camera. The internal hard drive of this system is only 8 gigabytes. However, at the top, it's got a slot for a micro SD card, and it supports up to 32 gigabytes. The battery life on this sucker, Samsung's estimating about 60 hours of audio, 8 hours of video. I myself, I've actually been able to push this device through extra help for up to about 10 hours of actual video. And perhaps the biggest thing I love about this device, when you're putting files on it, you can just drag and drop the files into the system from your computer. You don't have to use any kind of outside software to sync it. Just connect it, drag it, drop it right in the player. It's amazing. Now that I've talked about some features that I do like, I'll go ahead and talk to you guys about some features that I kind of believe are holding back the Samsung Galaxy Player. The first big thing is they're marketing this as a competition for the iPod, but unfortunately one of the big limitations is the RAM. It's only got slightly more RAM than the iPod, only about 120 megs. So, and the big problem is the operating system eats half the RAM, so automatically you lose half of your available RAM. Now, since the RAM is less than 1 gigabyte, it's not eligible for the Android 4.0 update. I kind of feel it holds it back in a way, but for casual users like me, it's not too big of an issue. The other big thing is, because it runs on Android, it runs through the Android market. Now, the bigger problem with the Android market is it has nowhere near the following that the Apple market has. Apple, you've got somewhere up in the 500,000 range for your apps. Android, I think the last count I saw was in the 200,000 to 300,000 range. Android is slowly getting there. It's got a few limitations that are making it more problematic, which I'll go over. Now, the other big con is charging this sucker. It takes about 4 to 5 hours to actually go from dead to full when charging this. Unfortunately, I'm too used to my iPod where I can go from dead to halfway in about 20 minutes of having it attached to my laptop. Now, I talked about the Android market issue earlier. The big problem I've seen is it suffers from a development problem, because every company that makes a device that'll run Android typically has their own specs, different hardware, different graphical capabilities. In many ways, it's a lot harder to code applications and programs for that when compared to the iPod, when literally every single iPod generation has the same hardware aside from a bigger hard drive. So when you code an application for that, you already know what's under the hood. You don't have to sit down and think, okay, what's this going to do? Will this crash this hardware, or will it work on this kind of hardware? Now that I've talked to you guys about some of the cons of the Galaxy Player, I'll go ahead and talk to you about why I feel it'll give serious competition to the iPod. The biggest thing, it runs on the Android operating system and not the Apple operating system, iOS. It's a huge sigh of relief for people like me because we have control over Android. With Android, you can easily get a custom, root the system, get a new mod in there, get a new ROM in there, and you can go in deep and set up the system how you want. You can have what kind of apps. You can decide if you don't like the Android market itself, there's other types of markets that you can get your apps off of. All your apps you can even download through your laptop and just upload them to the Android market, or upload to the Samsung Galaxy Player. Where with Apple, everything runs through iTunes. And iTunes, if you want to get a video, for example, like off of iTunes, you have to go through, or if you want to get a video onto your iPod, you have to go through iTunes. It has to be a certain format. So naturally, if you've got an AVI file, you have to convert it. You have to convert it from AVI to MPEG, where with this system, you can just leave it as an AVI. You can easily just rip a DVD into an AVI and then just pop it right here into the player. Now, the other big thing I love about it is the hard drive space. Because it's micro SD cards and it supports up to 32 gigabytes, you could theoretically have unlimited space. Your only real limitation is how many micro SD cards are you willing to get or trade out through. The other big thing is this sucker is cheaper. I paid about $230 for this for the 5-inch model. The 4-inch goes for about $200, and then I bought a 32 gig micro SD card off of Amazon for $30. An iPod Touch 32 gig goes for $300. And one of the biggest things is, for those who still have yet to actually embrace the Android operating system, this serves as a great introduction to it. It's not a phone, so you don't have to worry about a contract or paying a fee. It's a simple Android Wi-Fi device that you can just drag and drop music onto, watch videos, everything. Overall, I love it. So to conclude, I've talked to you guys about what I like about the Samsung Galaxy Player 5, what I don't like about it, and how I feel it's going to give Apple a run for its money. I hope that by informing you folks about this device, it'll give you an idea to look at some of the competition so that you won't feel that your only choice is an Apple product, an iPod, or an iPhone. While it may sound like I'm anti-Apple, I'm actually not. I just don't like their business model. I feel that if I purchase this device with my own money, I should be in complete control of it. Well, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Hope you guys have a good night.